Scream 7 is one of the most controversial movies this franchise ever had. There was the behind-the-scenes drama, cast shakeups. There's a pretty clear split between audiences and critics on whether this movie actually works. However, it happens to be the highest-grossing Scream movie ever made. Now you got this weird situation where the movie's divisive, it's controversial, but still massively successful. Scream has reached a level where it doesn't even matter what people say about it. People are showing up anyway. This series has such a tremendous amount of fan loyalty that I don't think it matters what happens, how good the movie is, or what. I'll say it off the bat. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, but people don't seem to care.
Scream 7?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, oh, wow. Sidney is older now, and she has 14 kids. Her daughter is the same age she was when she was first attacked by Billy Loomis and Stu Macher in the first movie. So there's a tension there because her daughter wants to know more about her past. Obviously, Sidney is famous in this universe. She's been attacked 36 times by different ghost faces. She's killed them all. There's been movies about her, books. The whole movie is centered around the fact that she wasn't in the last one. That's like the main plot point of this movie, and that they brought up and reminded us about no less than 50 times of like, why weren't you in New York? Where were you in New York? I'm sorry I wasn't in New York. So anyway, she's got some tension with her daughter. Surprise, surprise, Ghostface shows up and starts killing the daughter's friends. And oh my God, this is what I didn't want for you. It's happening again. And that's pretty much the movie.
I thought the first half of this movie was actually relatively good. And then it fell apart for me and went off the rails. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. The whole Stu thing, I'm like, yeah, sure, they're going to blame it on AI, but they probably could like do that storyline and say, hey, it actually is him. He did survive. Would have been interesting.
Right. Yeah.
But the storyline they went down was good enough. But then like things started to actually happen. Like that first kill, like up to that point, I was like, okay, now what are we going to do? Like now we don't know who the killer is. We know where the story goes. It was kind of cookie cutter, but it was basically good enough to be like, okay, how are we going to close this thing off now? And then that's where like it lost me. I was like, I don't believe any of this. I don't like any of this. None of this makes any sense. This is a dumb story.
I didn't think it was as bad as people were saying it was.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like the AI narratives. It didn't make sense for everybody and their mama to be a fucking AI specialist in this movie. Like the random teenage kid was an AI expert making
he like made
amazing
it in the bar.
technical level. Yeah. And then the orderly is an AI expert. I'm like, you would not be working as a orderly if you were an AI expert. That makes no fucking sense. I enjoyed some of the kills. I thought they were cool, but
So you enjoyed this movie?
I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it.
All right. I hated everything about this movie. If this isn't a parody, like on purpose, then I'm not really sure what this was supposed to be, because there are genuine moments where this felt like I was watching a scary movie. Like I'm not trying to be funny. When Gail shows up and they hit that killer, spoilers, with the car, and she gets out and the camera just pushes in and she goes, did I get him? And then the two kids come out. It's like, yeah, you got him. It was like I was watching the Power Rangers, dude. Like, what the was I watching? The movie went off the rails at that point. The acting fell apart. The writing went out the window, and it wasn't good to begin with.
It felt like the second half was AI written. So Sidney, who's been attacked several times and moved to a small town to get away from all this, has 3 deadbolts on her door, knows about boyfriends climbing into her windows with a panic room. But my daughter's window, no screen, no bars, nothing. Just easy to climb through, easy to access, so boys can climb through it. Let's just leave that open. Or like, we've got the security camera at the restaurant and we can like talk through it, but we can't press this remote silent alarm on our phone to call the cops. The cops are supposed to be like going around the neighborhood when they first get to her house. We're like, we're going to secure the neighborhood. Gunshots in the house that you're supposed to be securing. Nobody shows up for 10 minutes. Like, what? There's just so much sloppy writing in the second half of this film. I was like, I watched a completely different movie the first. It felt like somebody wrote, and I think there's 2 writers, so maybe that was it. But somebody really leaned into the AI the second half of this movie. It was dreadful for me. I was like, this is dumb.
I don't know what they leaned into.
I think the writing was pretty bad overall. You did bring up the panic room, which was crazy that they even had a panic room. It was like she was it's like the House Hunters meme where it's like, we got the cop and the final girl. what's your budget? Yeah, 3.5 million.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how do you guys even have this much money?
Well, she had
And
a
then
book.
they
The secret
retreat-
way out of the
Oh, okay,
panic
so she
room
had a
is a
book.
hole in the wall.
Yeah.
That's
That was the
fucking
dumbest
made out of
shit.
30-year-old wood.
Why did they even leave the panic room? Let's leave the
Hit the
safety
s-
of the panic room.
It wasn't even safe though, because if you find the secret tunnel, you could easily
if you
get
find
in.
the yeah.
The franchise started strong, like from a story perspective, but just as the franchise has gone on, like wow, have they just degraded? Like in old slasher movies, it was pretty straightforward. It's like Michael Myers, The Shape. He's just a escaped mental guy who has this obsession with this girl, and then it's like, oh, it's his sister, and it's this person, and it's his niece,
Yeah.
and you just see the degradation of the thing. And Scream is even in a worse spot because Michael Myers is an enigma. He's an enigmatic character. You don't know anything
Yeah.
about him. Scream, like the whole plot hinges.
It's a whole lore, and you have to kind of know
Yes.
it to even like.
But also, what I was getting at, it's got that like Scooby-Doo thing where like the whole movie hinges on the big reveal at the end, where it's like you take the mask off, it's
Who
like,
was it?
oh,
Yeah.
it was you the whole time. Like that's the selling point of Scream. And this was the weakest killer reveal
Yeah.
that I've ever seen in a killer reveal scenario. But yeah, I don't think this movie was fucking trying. This was just parody level for me the whole time. The cast, are there only like 10 Gen Z actors? Because the same actors are popping up in all these new movies. This movie had
Apparently.
I didn't
Two.
recognize any of these people.
2 people from the cast of Ghostbusters Afterlife are in this. McKenna Grace,
Oh,
who was the main character, and Celeste O'Connor, who was her friend, the black girl. They were both in Ghostbusters Afterlife. So like,
Wow.
are we casting the same pool of talent? I was a little excited when I saw Isabel May was in it. And to be fair, she was good in this, I think. She was from
Yeah.
1883, if you guys remember.
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
But the rest
Oh,
of the
that
cast,
was her. Yeah.
the rest of the cast was terrible. Besides her and like Nev Campbell, I guess was okay, but the writing didn't really help them at all.
At all.
I thought some of the kills were kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Some of them were like out of character for Scream movies. The Scream kills were always less like, usually like Friday the 13th is the one where you get like the really like over dramatic like gory kills. Halloween.
The bar kill.
The bar kill was hilarious, but it was very out of like character for
Yes,
Scream.
it was.
But still
That was
funny.
insane.
Yeah,
And then the first kill in the theater or whatever,
that was kind of cool.
the high school theater, that was insane. I feel like, is that like that's not a Scream-esque kill, right? Like, it's never that crazy.
It kind of is. I mean, well, you never really saw it play out like that. Like in the first Scream, they left a little to the imagination where you would just see the aftermath of it. Scream 5 was the first one that they made without Wes Craven after he died. He died in 2015, I believe. And then they made Scream 5, which they just called Scream. And that was the one that was supposed to like be the
Oh, yeah.
the reboot of the franchise. Sidney was in it. Dewey was in it. Courtney Cox was in it, I believe, but it introduced the new cast. The Scream 5 and 6 set up Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera as the new faces of the franchise, including
Scream Queens, yeah.
including the twins in this, Jasmine Savoy Brown from Yellow Jackets and her brother Mason Gooding. Well, the characters are brother and sister; they're twins. So this movie, I think, was announced in 2022 or 2021 or something like that. Something around that time. In 2023, Melissa Barrera, she was fired for, you guessed it, speaking out against the genocide in Gaza. The company, Spyglass, labeled her as anti-Semitic for saying genocide is bad. That led to like a bunch of fan backlash because like she was like the new face of the franchise. That led to Jenna Ortega dropping out. And then the director that was supposed to do this was Christopher Landon, who is a great director. He directed Freaky, which was a movie Dusty and I liked, that like comedy sort of horror. Instead of doing Scream 7, he dropped out and made Drop, which we also covered on the podcast, which I enjoyed it, I think, more than you guys, but we all kind of like didn't hate it. He wrote the screenplay for that movie We Have a Ghost that I told you was really good. He did Heart Eyes, which was a popular horror movie last year. Happy Death Day. Like, he's a horror guy.
I remember that one.
He's done paranormal movies. Like, he would have done a great job, I think, at this, at least on some level. So he backed out. So now you got your 2 leads and your director dropping out. And so they had to pick up the pieces and put things back together. So the production went and got Nev Campbell back. Now, she was supposed to be in Scream 6, but she didn't do it because she didn't feel that they were offering her enough money. And she was right. I don't know what the number was, but she was like, yo, I'm the face of the franchise. Like, you need to treat me better. And so she decided not to do that. So now I guess they gave her a boatload of money to come back to do this, and she did it. Surprisingly, one of the writers on this, Kevin Williamson, wrote the original 2 movies. So explain that shit to me. I don't understand what the fuck happened. Did he, like you said, did he run his shit through an AI? I don't know.
Well, maybe he's the one that wrote the stuff that I thought was good, and the other stuff the other guy wrote, and I thought it was trash.
He might have just wrote like the Nev Campbell stuff, like her story arc.
Yeah, because there was some stuff in there, like the whole, something clairvoyant she says is, by me protecting her from all this trauma, I've made her vulnerable to it. Like there's some
because she wasn't making her strong, and that lies my big issue with this, is because like Halloween, the recent trilogy, the David Gordon Green trilogy, dog shit trilogy, you have an opportunity to tell like a compelling story about generational trauma.
Yeah.
It's interesting that a woman or a person would have undergone such a traumatic event that all your friends were murdered on a single night, whether it be Halloween or Scream or what franchise. It's a compelling story to tell now, 30 years later, where you are in life, how you've dealt with it, how you're raising your children. We saw Laurie, we saw hints of it in Halloween 2018, where she's a shut-in. She's lived her whole life preparing for the moment that he comes back. And this could have been something similar. And it just wasn't. Like, how do you drop that ball? I don't understand. We get her the movie builds her up.
We got small taste of it, but yeah.
The movie builds her up as this heroic survivor, like almost of like myth and legend, and she's just standing in the middle of the road instead of like, she's like 20 feet away from where her daughter is.
That whole sequence was so bad.
And she's standing in the road on her phone like, oh, shoot the wall, instead of continuing to run to help your daughter. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, what are we
Call
doing?
the police.
She had no service. Don't you remember?
She had no service, but she was able to talk her.
Call
through
her
it.
daughter and talk her through the gun. Yeah,
That's what she did. Yeah, it's stupid.
It definitely had promise, because like I said, there's a great story there to be told, like the whole trauma and how much you want to protect, because you want to protect your kids. Like,
yeah, of course.
Nev portrayed herself, Sidney, as like a person who doesn't trust anybody anymore, period. You don't want to pass that down to your kid. You want your kid to have a normal life
and be strong.
So you do want to have some protection there. So it's a matter of how much do you protect them, because you also don't want them, like, it would be a boring movie if her daughter was prepared, like, oh, my mom's trained me for this, I'm ready for this, I'm gonna be a badass and I'm just gonna kill all the killers, and it's just gonna be a comedic Scream where the daughter is just a badass and a hero because she was so well prepared. You want something in the middle, but we didn't get that.
Yeah, and I like the contrast between her and, let's say, Laurie Strode, right? Laurie in Halloween was portrayed as like she was crazy and like, oh, he's never coming back, and her family was like, they shit on her and like made her feel bad, and she was a weird shut-in and a hermit and all this stuff. But in the end, she was right and she was prepared and she f***ed him up. In this, I don't think she was timid, Nev Campbell. You said she was timid. I don't think she's timid. I think she's a very strong character. The movie points that out, that she's so strong. She's been through this 6 times before or 5 times before. She's a pro. Her thing is like you said, she chose the wrong path to raising her daughter. Instead of like, she's trying to protect her and like block all this bad stuff from happening instead of preparing her for it. And I think that's actually a compelling thing to explore, but they didn't.
It would have been,
yeah, they didn't really drop the ball. And I like the fact that she was such a badass that they made a joke out of it. The movie is bad. We all agree. It's terrible. It's got a...
I didn't say all that.
It's terrible.
I didn't like...
We don't agree that.
You feel it's terrible. It's got a 30% rotten on the critic score, 75% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes fan score. Now, that's not the only aggregate site, of course. Was maybe, who knows? The ratings aren't always true. It could have been review bombed. The studio could have paid for good reviews. Who knows? But one thing you can't refute is that it made a lot of money, which means 2 things. Fans ignored all the drama going into it. And this franchise has a tremendous amount of loyalty.
I think it's just like a household name, like franchise.
Yeah,
People
it's just
see
nostalgia and
Scream and they
loyalty.
just want to go see Scream. It's just one of those classics I think you could just rely on.
I think this franchise is almost falling down onto the Scary Movie level.
I mean, I
where
think,
it's
yeah, I think it's a dead franchise. I mean, it's not, though. That's the thing. It's not. Which is why
Clearly it's not.
Which is why this is interesting. Yeah, we saying it's dead because it's clearly run out of like steam in terms of story, is run out of steam in terms of scares and like creativity, but it doesn't matter to people. People are still going out to see it
because people want a good slasher flick, but the whole Ghostface killer storyline is starting to get uninspiring and unoriginal. And
I think majority of people don't care about that as long as they get a few cheap kills.
Well, I've argued plenty of times.
It's a popcorn flick you go on a date with.
Yeah, we've talked about it recently. Like horror movies is the one genre where you don't have to care about it being bad or the writing or whatever. This movie just happened to be, for me, like just bad in everything. It didn't do anything enjoyable for me. So like it is what it is. But if it was just cheesy acting, I'd be fine. And if it had like, good scares and kills or whatever, I'd be down. But it wasn't that, unfortunately. But I think you're right.
There's some good kills, though.
It did have a couple. I think you're right, though, Dusty, that this movie's success proves that I think broadly the world, not just the horror genre, but because horror transcends the genre, the fandom. Like people like horror movies, and I think this shows that people want slasher movies again. Like the slasher is like a lost art.
It is.
And it's kind of
going to see the slasher on Friday night is that's like big. I did that plenty of times.
Oh yeah,
in my childhood.
It's my whole childhood.
You don't want to like give your date nightmares. You want to scare them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And a good slasher flick can do that without too much brutality and like
you don't want to ruin the night.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to
watching
ruin
a
the
Saw
mood.
movie.
Yeah, the world will always have space for slasher movies. They're classics, like you said, and we don't get enough of them. And I think that's why. And also coupled with the fact that, like Marvin said, this is such a classic franchise. It carries a lot of nostalgia. It does that in an extra way because this is unique.
And it's like Ghostface. Like, I mean,
Well, this is unique in that it's the same cast in almost every movie. It's been Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox for the vast majority of the franchise. So this is unique in that no other franchise or slasher franchise has those legacy characters that always come back. Friday the 13th has always been a new cast. Halloween has always been a new cast for the most part. And so that's an interesting level to it too, that you have this like fan attachment to the characters. It's almost like watching a show almost, where every new season you're like, all right, what are these characters up to? What are our friends up to? It's just a very interesting dichotomy that the movie was as bad as I think it is, but it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter. And the controversy too is honestly, on a different topic, pretty pathetic, to be honest, that what happened. So that's a different conversation, but like you would think more people would be up in arms about it and be like, fuck this, I'm not going to go see this movie.
Right, yeah.
But it didn't seem to matter. But yeah, so Scream 7 has a 5.5 on IMDb. Where would you guys put it?
5.5. I'm right there.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fair rating. I wouldn't bump it to a 6, but I don't think I'd give it an even 5 because it has a couple redeeming qualities about it, even though it's not a great film.
Can't do it. This is less than mid for me. I'll give it like a 4. And that's being generous, I think. There's like a few shots of Ghostface that are like kind of neat. I thought Neve Campbell was good. And that's about it. So I'll give it a 4. Let us know what you think, folks. Did you like Scream 7? Did you hate it? Did you go see it? Did you wait till it came out on digital? We want to know your thoughts. This was a rough one. I mean, I guess if you're a horror fan and it's Scream, whatever, go watch it, I guess. But it's not something that you're going to remember, I don't think, like 2 days from now. I certainly won't. The last time we were together, we watched Send Help, which
Dan hated.
I also didn't like. So and that was a divisive episode. Dusty and I, we got into it a little bit. Not really, but
we did.
We had a disagreement on the movie. But if you want to watch,
on Dusty's side that time.
Yeah, I got ganged up on. So if you want to watch that episode and hear our thoughts on Send Help, you can click that video right there.